Okay, let's dive right into this deeply fascinating text from the Avataṃsaka Sūtra. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to unpack what is essentially an ancient roadmap of the mind. Have you ever wondered if there's, an actual manual for how to systematically deconstruct your own suffering? Well, this text, specifically the chapter on the cultivation of compassion, offers exactly that. It's not just some lofty philosophical theory, it's a highly structured, step-by-step mental exercise designed to radically shift how you perceive yourself and really the entire universe. And this journey is grounded in solid historical reality. What we're looking at here is the actual digital preservation of an ancient Tang Dynasty translation, all thanks to the CBT Foundation. It's honestly incredible to think about. The exact same, precise instructions that were studied by ancient monks are perfectly preserved right here for us to analyze today. We're quite literally standing on a bridge across time, connecting directly to this profound method of mental cultivation.
To keep us perfectly oriented, here is our roadmap of the mind. We're going to move from Section 1, Maitreya's crucial question, into Section 2, Cultivating True Compassion, then Section 3, Visualizing the Pure Land, Section 4, Overcoming Anger and Resentment, Section 5, The Emptiness of Reality, and finally, Section 6, The Fruits of Practice.
So, Section 1, Maitreya's crucial question. Let's start with the narrative hook that sets this entire philosophical journey into motion. Every great teaching starts with a problem that needs solving, right? And this one begins with a very specific and honestly a very human inquiry. The Bodhisattva Maitreya poses this exact, highly relatable problem to the Buddha. Basically, how can one achieve profound wisdom and perfectly round out their practice without being just completely exhausted or tormented by endless suffering? Essentially, Maitreya is asking, hey, is there a more efficient way? Because we all want to reach our highest potential, but the traditional path seems filled with unimaginable hardship, lifetimes of struggle, and endless pain. Maitreya is kind of standing in for all of us here, asking the Buddha if there's a way to achieve this ultimate goal with a little less agony and a lot more joy.
Moving to Section 2, Cultivating True Compassion. And the Buddha's direct answer to this problem isn't some magic spell. He actually offers a deeply psychological, fundamentally transformative method. The Buddha provides literal, step-by-step instructions. You don't start by trying to save the whole world. You start by finding a quiet room, sitting down, and systematically looking at your own physical body. You realize that your flesh, your bones, your breath, your warmth, they're all just temporary combinations of foundational elements. You begin to intentionally dismantle the solid idea of you, piece by piece. You mentally zoom all the way in until you realize that you're just a collection of these microdust particles. And even inside those particles, there is vast, accommodating space. I mean, think about how modern this sounds. The text is asking you to visualize your body down to its most microscopic level, ancient atoms, basically. And when you look closely at these particles, you realize they aren't even solid. They're mostly empty space. Your solid, heavy, burdensome body is actually a swirling, spacious dance of microscopic dust. It fundamentally loosens that tight grip you have on your physical identity. All right, Section 3, Visualizing the Pure Land. Let's see how this builds from a microscopic view of dust into a macroscopic, cinematic universe. Because once you've emptied out that physical space, what exactly do you fill it with? The text invites you to vividly imagine this breathtaking architecture. And the scale here is absolutely key. You aren't just imagining a pretty place. You're imagining an infinite, perfect universe existing entirely inside every single microscopic particle of your own deconstructed body. It's a complete mind-bending exercise in scale and compassion. You're generating a mental environment where every single being is absolutely safe, surrounded by shimmering jewels and endless comfort. You are quite literally cultivating a universe of pure love within your own mind. Which brings us to Section 4, Overcoming Anger and Resentment. Because let's be honest, mental architecture alone isn't going to cut it. We have to address the biggest psychological hurdle in this entire process. It is super easy to visualize a beautiful, perfect world, right up until you remember that one person who really wronged you. But consider this profound realization. If you hold on to anger against someone who wrongs you, you are trapped. Why? Because over countless lifetimes, literally everyone has wronged you at some point. The logic here is beautifully unyielding. If you believe in infinite past lives, then every single soul has, at some point, been your enemy. If you single out one person to hate today, you're essentially opening the door to hating everyone. To cultivate true universal compassion, you have to break the cycle of specific resentment. You have to extend that beautiful lapis lazuli mental sanctuary even to the people who irritate or harm you. The Buddha gives us a really practical warning here. Resentment is toxic. He compares the angry mind to one that gives birth to venomous snakes, rendering you completely incapable of saving yourself, let alone saving anybody else. This is such a striking visual. Imagine trying to build a gorgeous palace in your mind, but you just keep letting venomous snakes loose inside the walls. That is exactly what holding onto a grudge does. The text makes it incredibly clear. Anger doesn't punish the other person, it destroys the architect of the mind. It poisons the very foundation of your own enlightenment. Okay, section 5. The emptiness of reality. We've deconstructed the body, built a mental sanctuary, and cleared out the venom of anger. Now, we transition from those moral instructions to some seriously mind-bending philosophy. This contrasts our frantic, hallucinatory ego with the peaceful truth of a reality that is perfectly empty of an independent self. The text is basically telling us that all of our stress, all of our suffering, comes from treating a mirage like it's a solid brick wall. We suffer because we desperately cling to an illusion of a permanent, isolated me. But when you actually do this practice, you begin to see that this me is just as fluid and spacious as those microscopic dust particles we talked about earlier. By using these deeply relatable analogies, the text makes it crystal clear that the rigid boundaries we draw between me and you are simply symptoms of a curable mental illness. Just think about that thirsty deer. It exhausts itself running toward water that simply isn't there. That's exactly what we do when we chase ego or status, or when we hold on to bitter anger. We are running after a mirage. But just like a person waking up from a stressful dream and realizing they're perfectly safe in their bed, this mental practice of compassion and emptiness is the medicine that cures our hallucinatory vision. It allows us to wake up to a reality where we are deeply interconnected and fundamentally free. Which leads us to section 6, the fruits of practice. We've done all this heavy mental lifting, so what is the ultimate climax of this teaching? Doing this profound internal work of compassion creates exponentially more merit than an entire universe full of physical riches. The Buddha sets up this wild, almost unimaginable comparison. Imagine gathering all the wealth in the universe, gold, silver, jewels, and giving it away every single day for billions of years. The text says that all of that physical wealth is absolutely nothing compared to the power of a mind that has genuinely cultivated emptiness and compassion. Why? Well, because physical wealth just rearranges the illusion. Cultivating the mind actually frees you from it entirely. And here's where the text reveals something truly incredible. Through this practice, the past, present, and future can all be compressed into one single thought, entirely freeing you from the normal limits of time and suffering. This is where our explainer really reaches its peak. When you truly grasp that time and space are empty constructs of the mind, you're no longer bound by them. In one single hyper-focused moment of pure, infinite compassion, you literally touch eternity. You realize the ultimate answer to Maitreya's initial question. The easiest, most profoundly transformative way to avoid suffering isn't to change the external world, it's to fundamentally transform the architecture of your own mind. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you step back into your own beautifully complex and entirely empty world. If this text is right and our internal state dictates the very reality we experience, what kind of universe are you building today? Are you building a prison of resentment, or are you building a spacious palace of lapis lazuli and compassion? The blueprint is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring the vast, magnificent architecture of your own mind.